All right, what's going on, YouTube? I'm going to get into Annick Menardo now. She has Body Koros and Lolita Olympica, which are two fragrances I have in my collection. Now, are they similar or the same? You know, we're going to get into that, but the first thing about it is, why is Annick Menardo so big in the fragrance community? Now, she is a genius because she pushes the envelope with fragrances, and she will make something that absolutely only one person, and that is her, can make smell good. Like Body Koros here. Now, this has a lot of weird notes, like the eucalyptus and the incense, and, you know, the cedar wood in your Body Koros with that touch of vanilla and the rich touch of vanilla make it a very, very enigmatic, rich, manly smell. Now, if you don't like sweet scents, I wouldn't recommend Body Koros, but it morphs nicely on the skin. Now, on the other hand, Lolita Olympica. This has Anise too, so, you know, it's Lolita Olympica, Body Koros, and Fuel for Life have Anise in there. And so she is used Anise totally differently in all those fragrances. Like, this is a creamy Le Male with a touch of Anise. The Anise, aniseed, whatever, the licorice note in that one are pretty predominant. So some people will be like, oh, it smells like sweet cherry. Well, you know, the licorice in that gives a sweet, fruity spice. Now, in this one, on the other hand, it's not fruity. This is anything but fruity. It's a rich, spicy vanilla. And that's the thing about that one. And so if you like your gourmands, you know, these can be in the collection. Now, she's also done Zieris Rohe. And that one has kind of a 1 million feel. And then she's done a Zero Visit, too. So she's also done the D Squared. She's also done Fuel for Life. And Fuel for Life has a raspberry anise to it. So she does a lot of warmth with her fragrances. Like, hers are nighttime scents most of the time. Unless you're a gourmand lover and you wear it during the day as your style. She tends to be the nighttime person. And now, you know, like with Lolita Olympica, I've definitely used the juice here. And Body Koros, yeah, I've definitely used a good bit of that juice. It's down to here, so down to about there. So, I mean, these are good scents. And basically, Annick Menardo is a genius because she knows how to push the envelope like Hani Mori does. And she will put a random, eclectic amount of notes together and actually make this work. And most people would fail. And most people would make a scent that's just overly sickly sweet, or it's just, you know, trying to do too much, like Beckham. You know, this is where Annick Menardo is the opposite of Beckham, because she has 3 Anise scents that totally smell different. And, you know, Lolita Olympica and Body Koros. Now, these are compared a lot. And I got to tell you that this may smell somewhat like Le Male with a touch of licorice. And then this smells all the way different. There's nothing comparable with Body Koros. It's like basically a very manly gourmand. For somebody that wants a rich smell and they want to have a very manly, masculine, kind of rich, strong smell. It's very distinctive. And Body Koros does a great job of it. And it's extremely enigmatic. It is basically like you take a good, rich nighttime scent and, you know, you have that good lack of sweetness, like the dryness, you know, like the dry spices and rich woods and, you know, the good precious oils that you tend to have that give the body to the fragrance, and they give that extra oomph. So that way you have something that works. And see, with a gourmand, you get a matrix, and you may use some honey, or you may use some sugar, or, you know, more importantly, like vanilla and chocolate and different food notes to make it sweet. Well, you still need basically the woods and the spices and the other components to really make it work. And so this is where a good fragrance will have, you know, maybe it'll have an oriental vanilla, but it'll have a good enough amount of wood and some florals and spices to make it work, and it'll be blended very well. Whereas a cheap fragrance is going to be like straight vanilla. Like, I've gotten Romero Brito, and people call it a Le Male clone. Just like there's a million Le Male clones, and most of them smell feminine. So that's one thing about it. Like, most Le Male clones smell unisex, and they just fall apart. And Le Male does smell synthetic. And so people have tried to make less synthetic versions of it. And some have done well and some of them have failed. And so this is where, like, if you're looking for a copy scent, Periel's Reserve is a good, reasonable budget buy. And I had a college friend who actually wore this one, loved it, and had great results with it. Now, when you look at like the Periel's 360 White that copies Le Male, when you get into, you got to look at who's making this. Where are they getting the notes from? They're trying to copy a certain fragrance, and then they're getting something in a certain price range. So the ingredients are usually cut. Now, Periel's does a reasonable job copying stuff, but it is not consistent. Some of the stuff that they copy is quite good, and some of the stuff they copy is quite lousy. It really depends, and to everybody's nose, everything is different. And so basically, Annick Menardo is great for gourmand lovers. She's great for a date night. She's great for a night of going out in the town if you want a bold scent. But at the same time, some of her fragrances are going to be very sickly sweet and almost feminine on some people's skin. So, this is where you can see some base notes that people love to death, and then you're like, what the hell, when you actually get it? So you really want to test it. And she really, on the other hand, is one of the few people that really has made some very good stuff. So she's honestly loved by everybody in base notes and Fragrantica just about. I mean, there's people who don't like her stuff, but most of them didn't have good chemistry. So Annick Menardo is honestly the best if you want like a good sweet scent. And you don't want the candy shop, but you do want your gourmand, because she will make a unique gourmand. And she will take precious woods and a lot of very rare, essential, very expensive oils that are from very good components, and she will make a scent that works perfectly. And so this is where, like, La Lila Olympica. Now this stuff, it opens like Le Male, so people have put it in that category, but don't ever think that just because something opens up, it's the whole smell, because this has the licorice anise and the anise, basically a straight licorice smell. So yeah, this one's like an Oriental vanilla with the fruity licorice, because the licorice in that one smells fruity, just like it does in the Feel for Life, except the Feel for Life has the raspberry, so it's a different type of fruit. So that's where, it's a contemporary kind of using different notes and citrus kind of fragrance. And now this has no fruit whatsoever. It is a rich, very manly smell, if you like sweet. Now, like the vanilla in that one is sweet, rich vanilla. And there's just a touch of that, but it goes well with all the other notes. Like the eucalyptus and the incense actually work perfectly in there. And so she picked a lot of different components. And we know that, Yvonne Saint Laurent has made some very good fragrances. Like Koros was a good macho scent back in the 80s. Now, you might actually enjoy that scent if you like something that pushes the envelope. But Body Koros is like a totally different, more modern fragrance. And, this is where basically she's changed with time. Like, she was originally making certain fragrances with certain notes for certain companies, and she'll change it around. She can work with anybody, and she's really a highly versatile perfumier, but she loves the warmth. And you kind of get that feel of her fragrance in everything that she makes because of that warmth, the sweetness, the way she puts the notes together. You kind of get that feel. And Annick Menardo is definitely one of the best for perfumiers. And honestly, if a celebrity were to get a fragrance made, she's the one you should get it made by. And if somebody wanted to get a fragrance from her, I would recommend like putting tropical fruits like lychees and mangosteen and good like Philippine mango, and like caramoya and soursop and actual tropical fruits that actually you can't find anywhere else. Like if this woman were to make a fragrance, I would want her to make rambutan and longan and all these different fruits that you can't get in the United States in the note, because then it would be a truly exotic smell. And if you got a fruit that smelled like pineapple and peach combined and had its own unique smell, that would totally work well. So, I mean, I think somebody needs to get her to make something with notes that are not brought into fragrance, because that would make her better. So, it's my review, and thanks for watching.